Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Saturday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow the Queen on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page on Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow the Queen on Twitter at DGoddess27. Hello, Cassandra. Dark Titan is in the house. Okay, Cancer 2184. Honey 69. Mommy, Mr. Hotel, Kenyatta. The Typer Boy. All right, Woke One is Black. Miss Kim, Diane, Terry Jones, Nicole, Claudette, Tanya, Meta Simplicus, Emperor Rex, Capricornus is in the house. Rod Breeze, James, a Supreme Hunter. All right, let's get into it. Mr. Mercedes, Hundia, Glamour Diva. A shout out. Hello, Myth King, the Dean. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuning into the Queen. I see you, Obsidian Blaze. Dr. K. Sampson is here. Okay, so let's get into it. Hey, October. I want this. They want that. Hold on. Let's see what the Godfather is saying. I want this. They want that, but only one can have. So we fight for it and vote. Is how it is determined. See that you are a kingdom upon yourself. They fooled us, calling ruler over us king and land's kingdom. All right, I hear that. Okay, so listen, I'm doing this video because, yesterday I did a video that some deemed as controversial. Some people got butthurt, bent out of shape for no good reason as far as I'm concerned. And I was reading some of the comments, which I thought were so ridiculous. Many of them, a lot of them were good comments. There was a few foolish comments, and I'm going to talk about those. Because here's the thing. Now, they say with FBA that the code is the leader and that the code is logic. Well, I need them to make it make sense, because if the code is logic, how come everybody's not using logic? Clearly, some people are not, so let's get into it. You see, I get the feeling that you are considered to be off code as far as some FBA people are concerned. If you don't go along, lick boots, right? Swing from basketballs, and I'm not talking about the baskets, but your last part. If you don't do that with their master, then it's a problem. You're a problem. You're anti-FBA. That's what someone called me. They said I was anti-FBA. Now, I find that very interesting, because here's the thing. Simply because I refuse to turn my back on Black immigrants, simply because I don't agree that the so-called tethers, as they call them, are the biggest problem for us. They want to say that I'm anti-FBA. Well, I find that interesting, seeing as how all the videos I do every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 and 4 times a day, are about the welfare and the safety and the injustices and the liberation and the freedom for FBA. I'm going to need y'all, some of y'all who were talking all that smack in my comments, to make that make sense. Now, just because I said that I don't classify myself as FBA, that doesn't mean that I'm anti-FBA. Please stop being so ridiculous. If you have a code that is logic, then all of you should be using it. And if in fact all of you are not using it, well, that means that some of you are off code. Now, it seems also to me that some people, and I'm not saying, and let me just get this straight. I am by no means talking about everyone that identifies as FBA. Let's get that straight. Because yesterday, when I said something about some of them were dumb and stupid, I meant that. I meant that. I wasn't talking about all of them. I was talking about the ones who were on Taharka Bay's channel in his chat getting upset because the man asked questions. Whether you agree or disagree with the questions he asked, doesn't he have a right to ask them? And another thing is, I had comments in my own chat where someone said that they didn't like my questions, or they said that I was asking bad faith questions. Can someone who identifies themselves as FBA please explain to the Queen what in the hell is a bad faith question? What's a bad faith question? I was always told that the only dumb question is the one that you don't ask. So, what is a bad faith question? Because I would love to know. Just because I asked a few questions, just because I disagreed with a few points. Now, here's the thing, I don't disagree with everything FBA does. I agree with most of the things that they do and say. I simply disagree with the fact of being against melanated people just because they're from foreign lands. So that makes me anti FBA. So let me tell you what that sounds like to me. That sounds like wanton supremacist talk and babble. You see, that sounds like what they say when we say, or any of us say, that we're pro black. They automatically assume that we're anti white. You see how FBA uses the wanton supremacist? Some of the FBA use the wanton supremacist talking points. Make it all make sense. And here's another thing. Someone also said, because I also stated yesterday that I'm Moorish, and I am. That's my nationality. But someone in my comment section said, well, I thought Queen Ahmadiyyah said she was Cherokee. And then someone else said, oh, she done switched up her whole shite. I didn't switch up anything. That's the point. If I switched up, I would be identifying as FBA. But the thing is this, for years, almost a decade, my paperwork, my legal documents, my driver's license, anything that I do that's government government paperwork, it all classifies and identifies me as Moorish. That's my nationality. So with that all being said, if I had switched up, then I would be identifying myself as FBA on paperwork. But the funny thing is, my identification, classification is actually on paperwork. Whilst the people who call themselves FBA, I know good and well your stuff isn't on paperwork. And so, but if it's a lineage, it should be on paperwork. You should be classified on that. It should be on your social security paperwork. It should be on your IRS paperwork. You should have filled out a statutory claim. You should have sent information, should have been faxed to the OMB, the Office of Business Management, which reports directly to the president. You should have done all of that if you're really FBA, but you didn't. And so y'all want to sit here and say, oh, the Queen done switched up. I never switched up. I've always been down for Black people, and I always will be down for Black people. You see, I love Black people. The only reason some of the FBA are mad at me is because I love all Black people, whether they come from America, Trinidad, Jamaica, Africa, Haiti, you name it. I love them all. Now, there are some of them who oppose us, and we already know that, but there's also some of our own people right here in the Divided Snakes who also oppose us. Herschel Walker, prime example. Larry Elder is another. Shall I continue? Because I can name a myriad of them. They're FBA according to you all's definition, but they don't roll with us. They don't rock with us. They're against us in opposition to us. They're the ones who are anti-FBA, not the Queen. I sit here and defend our people tooth and nail. I go hard in the paint on wanton supremacy. And I find it all so interesting that simply because I disagree with some of Tariq Nasheed's talking points, now I'm all of a sudden the problem. Now I'm asking bad faith questions. Now I'm anti-FBA. Y'all need to make it make sense. Now I know for some of you, he is your God, your Lord, your Savior. That's fine. He can be just that. But don't sit here and get mad at me because I don't lick his boots and I don't bow down to him and I don't agree with everything that he says. I do agree with some of the things that he says. But you see, the thing about the Queen is I have individual frames of thought, which means that I don't go along with group think wholeheartedly 100% at all times. All right. Now, there are some group things that I absolutely agree with, but there's others that I don't. I have contrary opinions. And shouldn't I be able to do that? All right. Without being ridiculed, okay, dragged, called nasty names and all that. Make it all make sense. If y'all really say logic is the code, then please, all of you, I implore you to start using it. You see, because that's absolutely what I use. I use logic. I stand with facts and evidence and receipts. I don't get caught up in emotion. I don't allow my emotions to lead the way, to dictate what I say, think, and all of that. That's what I don't do. You see, because when you allow your emotions to lead the way, then you get mad and get in your emotions when someone opposes your decisions or your opinions. All right? Can I just have my own thoughts? Exactly, beloved. That's what I'm talking about. Shouldn't we all be able to? Reggie says, can I just have my own thoughts? The Godfather says, see, many sayings, they love all their people as if, but they just showed that is not true. Some will be that way. Glamour Diva said crabs in a barrel. I mean, that's what it sounds like. You see, that does sound like crabs in a barrel. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to take down or tear down anyone. All I'm trying to do is express my own thoughts and opinions, my own views freely on my own channel. At the same time, here's what I've told you all numerous of times before, and I'm going to say it again. The logic sounds like it's lacking to me. It does seem like it's lacking, because how can you just be mad at your own Black people, which I'm one of, and by your definition of FBA, that includes me. So here's the thing that's funny. How could anyone dare to say that I'm anti-FBA when in fact, according to your definition of it, I am FBA? Now, just because my paperwork doesn't say it, neither does yours. Your paperwork says African American. That's what it says. If they look you up in any system of government business, Social Security, the IRS, any of those things, the DMV, it's going to say you're an African American, right? But you say you're FBA, and I say that I'm Moorish, and that's what my paperwork says, but I can't say I'm FBA, or you wouldn't call me FBA. So now I'm anti-FBA. Please make it all make sense. And so here's another thing too. Thank you, Terry. Terry says, right, Queen. Thank you, beloved. And here's another thing. Wokeman said it's impossible to agree with everyone's talking points. That's some phony shite there. Yes, it is. Thank you, beloved. You see, it appears to me that some of the people want everybody to be yes men and women, just to go along to get along. Is that what I have to do? Do I have to sit up here on my own platform and be fake and just pretend that I go along with everything that they say? I mean, it's so ridiculous. You know, I let them come on my platform yesterday. I welcomed them to come on here. We had a decent conversation. No one was disrespectful. I actually enjoyed the conversation. They had opposing views to mine. I didn't get mad. I didn't get upset and call them names. I didn't do any of that. All right? That's what I didn't do. So the funny thing is, when I wake up and look at my comment section, and all these people got so much to say, just because I didn't agree 100% with Tariq Nasheed's talking points. That's why y'all are mad, some of you. Please make it all make sense. What you need to stop doing is putting people, human beings like myself, Tariq, other people, you need to stop putting us in a godlike position, because we're not gods. Well, we are gods, but you know what I'm saying. We're not the most high God. That's not who we are. Okay, so you shouldn't liken us to the Most High, and you shouldn't bow down and worship us, and all of those things. And at the end of the day, get mad at other people who do not. Okay, Kenyatta says, Queen, they weren't listening. It was exhausting. You held the grace high yesterday. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. Okay, Terry Hinton said it makes no sense. Right. Diana said off code. Yes. Mommy says people are crazy. You know, here's the thing. This is a reason why we will never be able to unify. It's never going to happen. I don't see it happening, because anytime any of us just don't agree with everything someone says, then it's a problem. Now, if you say the code is the leader, why is it that you all get upset? Some of you, a few of you, why is it that you get upset if people don't agree with everything Tariq says? Tariq said himself he's not the leader. You all say yourselves he's not the leader. So if he's not the leader, how come I have to agree with everything he says or else? I'd like to know. Can anyone please answer that? If there's any FBA opposers who don't like what I'm saying, please feel free to let me know and I can drop the link because I would really like to know the answers to these things. And these questions that I would like to ask, they're not bad faith questions. And I still would wait for someone and waiting for someone to explain to me exactly what a bad faith question is. What is a bad faith question? The only thing I hope by asking any questions is just to get answers, whether I agree with the answers or not. That's just it. Silent D wants me to drop the link. All right, so I'm going to drop the link. There you go, beloved. Link has been dropped. So, I mean, I just think it's all just ridiculous. At the end of the day, we can't get along if we don't all agree on 100%. Listen, here's what I told you all before because I got slightly off track. What I have told you all before on several occasions is that, you know, Caucasians, they can agree with only one thing out of 100, and they can disagree with 99 things. But that one thing that they agree on is enough to keep them unified and together and on code. Mind you, our people can agree on 99 things and just disagree on one thing. But that one thing is enough for some of us to throw the other people under the bus. Some of you said, one person said, I can't believe this is coming from you, Queen. What are you talking about? You can't believe what's coming from me. Then someone said, I seem like I was angry. Angry about what? Because I was asking questions. I didn't appear angry yesterday. We were laughing and talking and having a good conversation. What anger did you see? You see how people try to paint narratives? They just try to make something out of nothing. They try to make things into the way they want it to be because they don't like what someone said. The only time people get upset about a question is if they don't want to answer it or they can't answer it with truth. That's just what it is. So for the person who left me the comment saying that they shouldn't have to answer me because I'm asking bad faith questions, well, the only reason you would say that is because you didn't like the question. That's just what it is. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, passion is not anger, so please stop it. Exactly. Thank you, beloved. Okay, Queen, that's facts. Thank you. Okay, just wasn't allow someone to speak all over you. That's all. Yes, thank you. It's disrespectful to talk over people. That's what I didn't do. I didn't want anyone talking over me. And when they spoke, I was silent and allowed them to speak. I just wanted the same amount of respect. I mean, it is my platform, and I did welcome them to come on here. So with that all being said, where was the anger? Where's the hostility? Nobody was really arguing. Now, prior to them coming on here, there were people talking slick in the comments. So I did say, if you come on here trying to roast or whatever, then you're going to get roasted and it won't come out good for you. But nobody did that. So there was nothing to argue about. So all I'm saying. So anyway, at the end of the day, hold on, let me drop the link again. They say that a person is smart, but people are stupid. Use your own common sense, folks. Exactly, woke one. You know, everyone should be able to think for themselves at the end of the day. Okay, that's what they should be able to do. Nobody uses absolute terms, so the FBA question is stupid. Hold on, let me read a few more comments. They're talking over you. The talking over you had me thrown, child. Yes. Okay. Reg says, I love you and respect you, Queen. And I love you, right, Black beloved. I absolutely do. That thing wanton supremacy agrees on in the hatred of Black people, says Pisces God. Yes. That's just what it is. Okay. That's just what it is. I don't know what happened to Silent D. I think he came on here and maybe he dropped the signal. Okay, the Most High gave you a brain. Use your critical thinking skills, folks. Exactly. That's what we all should be doing. Using common sense and critical thinking skills. So because I don't agree with everything you say, I'm a problem. This sounds like a hate group to me. If you want to say that kind of stuff, that seems like a whole hate group. So you don't like Black immigrants. You don't like people who are contrary, have contrary opinions and views. And I'm not saying all FBA, because in fact, some of the people in my chat and some of the people subscribed to my channel are consider themselves FBA. Some of my moderators, some of my friends and family. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying that I don't identify as FBA. I just don't. That's a term that was made up recently. And prior to that term being made up, I was already identifying as a North American native of Cherokee descent. And for the person who said I switched up, oh, I thought she said she was Cherokee, I am Cherokee. But here's the thing. You see, this is why I say some people don't use logic. Pay attention, because I didn't switch up. You see, I am classified on my paperwork and everything as a North American native of Cherokee descent. Okay. And that's my ethnicity. Now, my nationality is Moorish. You see, ethnicity, race, and nationality, those are all different things. And so the person who said that and the other person who agreed with them, they don't have logic, or they're uninformed. And so if you're not informed, I suggest you get informed before you start saying foolish things, because that makes you look like you're just dumb. And that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, why doesn't everyone use your titles and labels? I don't know. Everyone should use whatever they will or may. I'm just saying what I use. People have their own opinions. You know, Terry Jones said receipts. Okay, with that all being said, yes, I'm too damn mature to pick sides. Don't do it. Hold on. Didn't do it as a child, won't do it now. I'm for anybody. Be one, no matter where you were born. That is all it is, and that's it. Yes, thank you, beloved. I absolutely agree. That's another thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point. Why do we have to pick sides? You see, why should we have to pick sides? So if I say I'm Moorish and you say you're FBA and that's how you identify, and this is how I identify, what makes your identification status wrong and mine right? Or vice versa. What makes mine right and yours wrong? Why can't we just be who we are, identify as how we choose, and still work together and go against wanting supremacy? Why can't we just do that? That's what we should be doing. I don't have any angst or disdain for FBA. Those are foundational Black Americans, right? Okay. So do you think that if the police pulled us over and we're in a car and someone sitting next to me identifies as FBA and I identify as Moorish, that the police is going to say, well, this one right here is FBA? They're going to look at us both as Black. That's the same thing they're going to do with the Black immigrants too. They're just going to see Black people, period. Okay, they're not going to sit there and distinguish the difference. So with that all being said, why must we bicker amongst ourselves? And why should we get upset and angry and bent out of shape because some of us have questions, legitimate questions as far as I'm concerned? Why should we get upset because some people have different frames of thought and don't 100% agree with every single thing that we do and say? Some of my subscribers don't agree with every single thing that I say. What do I always tell my moderators when someone says an opposing opinion in the chat? I said, don't ever block people because they don't agree with me. They don't have to agree with me, and they don't. We can respectfully agree to disagree. You see, that's what adults should be able to do. Why do we have to act like we have to be in cliques, like we're in high school? So if I don't agree with everything Tariq says, then some of y'all FBA want to get mad and turn on me. That's how that works. So we're in cliques now. Oh, that's the team over there, and that's the team over there, and they don't like us, and we don't like them. Is that how it goes? That's also childish, and I'm not in high school. All right, neither any of you, last I checked. So it would behoove you to stop acting like it. Stop getting mad and upset because someone has opposing views and contrary opinions. That's what we all should have. I don't know at any time on the planet when all of us collectively, everyone on the globe, agreed with every single thing, all in unison. People have different thoughts and ideas, and that's how the world revolves and moves. That's how we create things. We create ideas. That's how we put like minds together and come up with plans and strategies. If everyone is collectively always thinking the exact same thing, What if we're all thinking the wrong thing? What if we're all making mistakes? Who's going to correct us? You understand what I'm saying? So that is not logical. It's illogical. It's nonsensical. And for people who say that the code is logic, then please get the rest of those who are not using logic to start using it. Otherwise, they're the ones who are off code, not the queen. I've never been off code with black folk. Just because I don't agree with some black folk, and just because I call out frauds and scams and all of the scammers and all of that, that doesn't mean I'm off code. You see, I'm on code. Because here's the thing. This is what I want to point out. Now, some of you were going hard in the paint when I was exposing certain people, but I find it also interesting because in Haiti, during the revolution, didn't they call out the people who were Confederate against them amongst their own people? They called them the collaborators. Didn't they call them out first? Didn't they handle them first? So, but then y'all want to get mad at me when I start exposing people who are doing the same thing. Now, they might not be all up under wanton supremacy, but if they're doing things against us that are harmful to our people in our community, that's just as bad, right? If they're doing the same things to us that wanton supremacy does, aren't they just as bad? Make it all make sense. Rach said it exactly. That's what I'm saying. Wavy though said Black's Law Dictionary. Exactly. But see, some of them don't want to go by Black's Law Dictionary because some people have told them that they don't agree with it. And that's fine if they don't agree with it, but I do. What I suggest all of us do as adults is start making our own decisions and stop being led by people who say they're not leading and then using all of their talking points. Use your own common sense and critical thinking skills. You can agree with people without spewing everything out of their mouth, out of yours, every single thing that they say. Someone also left me a comment yesterday saying that when people follow people, they often use their talking points, and they made reference to how I use the word nefarious, make it make sense, and that other people who follow me say those same things. Well, here's the difference. Those are catchphrases, okay? Those are just catchphrases, honey. Those aren't really talking points. If I say it's nefarious, if I say, oh, make it make sense, that's called a catchphrase. On the other hand, if you're sitting there going along with every single thing that I say, taking the same exact stance on every same thing as I take without being, bold enough to use your own mind and your own opinion to formulate your own freedom of thoughts and choice, then that is just ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. You should be an individual. We should all come together as individuals and work together collectively. That doesn't entail all of us just saying and mimicking every single talking point that someone else says. All right? That's not logical. All right? That is absolutely not logical as far as I'm concerned. Diana said, Black's Law Dictionary will not change your condition in this nation. Well, here's the thing, Diana. I don't recall anyone saying that it would. I don't recall anyone saying that it would. At the end of the day, the way to change your condition in this nation is to unify, right, with people who look like you, people who agree with at least the fact that wanton supremacy is our biggest problem, our biggest foe, and then work together to try to get tangibles, reparations for ourselves, try to get things, protections, anti-hate crime bills and things like that, try to be able to protect our children from CPS and other things. If you want to work together, that's what will change our situation. No one said anything about Black's Law Dictionary. That's a straw argument, and that's a deflection and a gaslighting. And at the end of the day, whether you want to read Black's Law Dictionary or not, or go along with it, here's the problem. Here's the thing. That is the rule. That is the law in this country. Okay, that's the law in this country, honey. Black has no standing in law. That's what it says in the Black's Law Dictionary. So if they say Black has no standing in law, that should tell us exactly why the police can murder Black people, because you're already dead in the eyes of the law. Now, that is why I put myself in my correct status years ago. Now, I'm not saying that you all have to do that. I'm just telling you why I did. And you may say, Diana, that it doesn't work. Well, maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe it won't work for me. But at the end of the day, the choice was mine, and that's what I chose to do. Okay? So Obsidian Blaze said straw, as in straw man. When I say straw argument, no, I'm not talking about the straw man. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But what I'm saying, a straw argument is an argument that doesn't make any sense, something that you're just trying to use as a diversion to change the conversation, the direction of the conversation. Okay. Basically gaslighting and deflecting. That's what I mean. All right. Uh, Toy snatching. I don't know what that's all about. Um, Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. I'm starting to think this person, Diana, is a troll or clearly here just to sow seeds of discord so she can say goodbye at the end of the day. I don't even know why she's here. If you don't want to hear the conversation, if you just want to keep on doing things to disrupt the chat or whatever, then just leave. Go listen to someone who goes along to get along with everything that you say, think, and feel. All right? Because I don't have time for it. Okay? Lee Harp said, right, straw weak arguments. Exactly. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, Terry Hinn said, Queen said what she said. Okay. Salam D said, no, Queen, don't block her. Well, it's too late. She's already blocked. And at the end of the day, I was tired of it. Robin said it's probably wig. Whoever it is, honey, I'm not here for it. Okay. What I'm not going to do is sit here and go back and forth with someone in my own chat. That's what I'm not going to do. So just not going to do that today. All right. So like I said, if anyone wants to join the conversation, I can drop the link. Otherwise, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth. Just not here for it. Woke one says, hold on, let me go back. Woke one says Clinton said it too. And so did Obama when he was in office. Remember, in 2009, he came on the Tom Joyner morning show and they introduced him as the first Black president. And he said to them, I don't consider myself the first Black president because Black has no standing in law. Okay. ECO 21 says, Queen, we love you. And I love you right, Black, beloved. I love you right, Black. And here's the thing. Some people don't love the Queen, and that's fine at the end of the day. Some people want to treat me like a tether. Go right ahead. I don't care. Another thing, speaking of tethers, someone asked me in the comments, someone said, Queen, isn't your son's father a tether? Here's the thing. First of all, no, he's not a tether, okay? And he's not a tether. And I myself personally don't call Black immigrants tethers anyway. That's what some of y'all call them. I don't call them tethers. At the end of the day, I call them by their nationality, Haitians, Jamaicans, or whatever. I don't call them tethers. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. If my son's father was or is a Black immigrant, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, Tariq's mother-in-law is white, right? So miss me with that. What does that even mean? What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't have anything to do with my stats and my beliefs and how I identify myself. Make it all make sense. Do you see how they try to grasp at the smallest of straws to make their argument sound legit? And then one of them said to me, "Oh, Queen, so you're Moorish. No wonder you switched up and you're anti-FBA." First of all, I've been Moorish. Okay, that's what I've been. And that absolutely has nothing to do with how I feel about FBA, because quite frankly, I love FBA. I don't have a problem with FBA. The problem that I have is that some of you want to be angry and upset because people want to ask questions and because people don't go along to get along with everything that Tariq Nasheed says. That's the problem. I don't have a problem with FBA in general. Y'all are Black people just like I'm a Black person. If I don't have a problem with Black immigrants, why would I have a problem with foundational Black Americans? Does that even make sense? Of course it doesn't. Another thing I want to say that I thought was so illogical, someone said to me in the comment section that Taharka Bay is Canadian. Who told you that? Taharka is from Baltimore, okay? So he considers himself Moorish, as I'm sure you know, but at the end of the day, why would you say he's Canadian? Because his real name is Toronto Johnson?
So because his name is Toronto, that makes him Canadian. Y'all see how silly some people can be, and why I say some of them are absolutely not using logic. So if my name was Paris, will that mean that I was from France? If my name was London, so do I have to be from the UK? You see how some people use no logic at all? They're the ones who are off code, the ones being illogical and nonsensical, not the queen, because I always use logic. That's what I always do. And that is why some people will say, oh, she's asking bad faith questions, because my questions are always logical and I always make it make sense because I am the queen of receipts and I always can produce them. And so the ones who can't produce receipts will have to say things like, oh, you're just a hater. Oh, you're just jealous. Well, that is getting so old, because even if I was a hater and even if I was jealous, the fact of the matter is I'm still speaking the truth. So please stop gaslighting and deflecting and trying to find something to try to discredit me or try to make it look like I'm just coming off as being, against you just because I have opposing views and opinions. I'm a polarizing figure, a controversial person, and that's just what I am. And at the end of the day, many of you are as well. So the difference is some people are not bold enough to speak their truth. Some people are not bold enough to have a disagreeable opinion than some people that others choose to worship. But I do. You see, because I don't care anything about clicks. I don't care anything about likes and views, whether you give them or not. If you give them, that's fine and I appreciate them. But if you don't, if you want to give me a thumbs down, go right ahead. You see, I don't live off of YouTube. All right? I have a job outside of here. Now, I love to be on YouTube because I love to reach my people and share knowledge and information as well as to gain information, because I gain information and knowledge from YouTube from other people as well. But at the end of the day, this isn't my life. So when some of y'all sit there and think that if you say you're going to unsubscribe from me or you're not going to listen to me, do you think that bothers me? I really don't care. Okay, that's your choice. That's your opinion. And unlike some of you, I don't get upset about people's opinions. That's just what I don't do. All right. That's just what. Hey, Vince from the UK. Vince, you're a tether, beloved, according to some, just so you know. But the queen loves you. The queen loves you. Okay. Anyway, hold on. Someone said they were looking for the link. Dion said, I was looking for the link, but I watch you in all Black news media. I have never heard them mention you, but you are now constantly calling them out as well as your listeners. Wig. Hold on. I'll drop the link again, beloved. I'll drop the link again. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, so Vince said, I love you, right, Black Queen. Thank you, beloved. And so anyway, October said they watching Queen for real, for real. Hold on, let me get a couple of these comments really quick. Eric says, I'm FBA, but I've been rocking with you for a long time and I'll continue. Thank you, beloved. Listen, and I rock with you too. Here's my thing. Like I said, I love Black people in general. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say I love Candace Owens, because we all know that's not true. Joy Reid, President Obama, Michelle Obama. No. At the end of the day, I don't wish them any harm or ill will or whatever, but I don't roll with them because they don't roll with us and for us. I have always been a proponent for our people. When you look at my body of work, if you just go back through the videos on any of my channels, you should know that. So how dare anyone imply or insinuate that I'm anti-FBA? They can't make that make sense. And the notion that they would even say that just because, like I said, I have different views on some things. I absolutely agree with them on most things. Okay? But just a couple of things I don't. And I guess it's a problem because one of the biggest things for some of them is the whole thing about the so-called tethers, as they call them. I just don't rock with that. That's just my opinion. Okay. Callie said, anything good about FBA? Yes, there's lots of good things about FBA. What are you talking about? There's plenty of good things about FBA. FBA wants us to get reparations. Okay. They're trying to push for reparations. FBA wants other foundational Black Americans, as they call it, to unify together. They just don't want the Black immigrants involved for the most part. And so at the end of the day, yes, there's many good things about FBA, but there's also some things, like I said, that I disagree with. Okay, Queen, we got to be on code even to allow reparations to come through. Yes, we absolutely do. So here's the thing. How do we get on code? How do we get on code when you have people who are supposed to be pushing for reparations saying that, because I'm Moorish, classify myself as Moorish, call myself Cherokee, that I'm not one of them? But by the definition of their own definition, foundational Black Americans, that would include me, right? And so I'm just saying, how do we get on code with that? I'm just curious. Somebody make it all make sense. Okay? If they are expecting reparations, then they're off code, says tomorrow. You say they're off code if they're expecting reparations? We should all be wanting reparations. Okay? Warrior statuses, pay attention. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I didn't come on here to stay all day. Pisces said, yes, it would, Queen. Yes, absolutely. Okay? Listen, I'm going to tell you like this. Welcome said, good question. Yes, thank you, beloved. Here's my thing. I'm going to say this in closing. I would like to see, Goodness Raider Bo says, does reparations will ever happen? I don't know. That's left up to this government. You understand what I'm saying? That's left up to this government. We can continue to fight for it and all of that. Do Tariq's followers realize, hold on. Let me read these comments. Do Tariq's followers realize he did not create FBA? He just branded it. Naima Ra, I don't know what they know, beloved. And at this point, I don't dare to ask. Okay? I don't dare to ask because like they told me, some person told me, I have bad faith questions. So I don't know. Some of us will never get on code, unfortunately, says Terry Hinton. And this is also true. Kenyatta says, it was definitely necessary for a rebuttal today on this topic. Okay, thank you, Queen. You're welcome. Thank you, beloved. Queen, your last two shows were hot, says Kamisi. Thank you, beloved. And so listen, Miss Hotel said all this gaslighting is sick. I absolutely agree. Raider says, what does it matter? What does what matter, beloved? Keep in mind, some people from the Caribbean nations are now wanting to separate from the royal family and fighting for their own reparations, and I'm all for that for them. I am too. I absolutely, listen, I feel like all of us melanated people who were enslaved anywhere on this globe deserve reparations. The wrongs done to us and our ancestors need to be repaired. However, I do think that wherever your ancestors were enslaved at, those governments owe you the reparations. That's just what I think. But I do think you deserve reparations. So that's my stance on that. The best thing, Claudette says, I concur. Okay. So SD said, how come Nigerians, hold on, this chat's moving quickly. How come Nigerians know they're Nigerian and other people in Africa know who they are, but Black people in America got different names? Well, that's likely due to the slave trade, beloved. That's likely due to the slave trade. We lost our ancestors lost knowledge of self. And their ancestry and their own history. And then they've whitewashed plenty of things. And that's a logical reason for why, as far as I'm concerned. And then also some of us don't care to read and research, apparent from the person who left that comment saying that I switched up. First I said I was Cherokee, now I'm saying I'm Moorish. And that's just so ridiculous that they obviously didn't know that you could be both. Make it all make sense. All right. So October says the brain enslavement is the biggest problem. Yes, it is. Nicole said I'm down for that, and we all should fight for it. Fight for it together. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not what traditionally happens. The others were able to access education, jobs, etc. The FBA's fought for. Yes, that is absolutely true, beloved. But here's the thing. If we want to unify, should we not, want them to benefit from things? But they should be fighting with us. I don't feel like the immigrants who come here, the black immigrants who come here, I don't feel like they should sit back and wait for us to fight for things and then they benefit. I feel like they should be fighting with us. I absolutely think that they should be fighting with us, because that's how you unify. You work together to accomplish a common goal. Okay, that's what you do. You don't have one group sitting idly by and then the other group doing all the work and then everybody reaps the benefits. That's not how it should work. Okay, we have someone by the name of DL on here. Hello, beloved. What's going on?
Hello.
Okay, we have someone by. Yes, what's going on?
Hi, I was just calling in because I saw your last live stream and I disagree with some of your points. I've been looking at you for a long time. Like, I looked at you all last year and I just disagree with some of your points that you have about FBA because I feel like you're mixing Tariq in with the FBA and it's making FBA lose their traction. Because FBA is gaining traction, reparations is gaining traction, and it's time for us as Black Americans to separate from, I know you don't like the word tethers, or to separate from these immigrant class groups that mean us no well. I am formerly a college student, and whenever we as Black Americans were trying to group together to make something happen at my particular college, non-FBA or non-Black Americans who did not have lineage to America, they were born here, but their parents were not from here, they always fought against us. And in the student realm, we could never get anything done because these people were also classified as Black with us. And we could never get anything done because they were always in our spaces. Now I feel like the term FBA is needed and these different terms are needed to separate us. But at the same time, I feel like everyone's muddying it up with Tariq when Tariq always says in his lives that it is a lineage. Now, personally, I feel as a FBA group, we do not believe everything that Tariq says. I do not believe with everything that Tariq says, but I feel like to take down FBA with Tariq is problematic.
Okay, let me say this, beloved. What makes you feel that I'm trying to take down FBA? And what did I say specifically yesterday that you disagreed with about FBA, if you remember?
My personal thing that I felt yesterday, because I heard you when you were talking to the gentleman yesterday, when he was telling you about the tethers or the immigrant class, you were saying that Tariq speaks against them more. And so I just felt like it shouldn't even be about Tariq. Now, when he initially did the Twitter space for the reparations, the non-FBA or the immigrant class came in there starting with him. He did not start with the non-FBA people. And so I feel like the vitriol that he got for saying, what do we want in our reparations package? The non-FBA people or the immigrant people came into our business. And I'm tired of non-Black American people coming into our conversations, trying to run things that do not pertain to them. Why are they in our conversations?
Okay, I understand that. That makes sense. But let me ask you this. What have I done that makes you feel that I'm specifically trying to take down FBA? I have not said anything bad about FBA. I just said that I disagree about the Black immigrants. What did I say or do that leads you to assume that I'm trying to take FBA down?
I don't think I really respect you, Miss Queen Ahmadiyah. And I'm not saying that you're trying to specifically take down FBA, but my stance is I feel like FBA should not be linked to Tariq in such an intimate way that if Tariq goes down, FBA goes down. That is my standpoint.
Well, I don't know who said Tariq was going down. I certainly didn't. I was only disagreeing with some of his talking points.
You said that the people were going to take him down because he is going.
That's not what I said. What I said was this. I was quoting what he said and what the people said in the Twitter space that he played. I didn't hear this in the Twitter space. I wasn't in it, but I heard it on his live. He said that I was repeating what Tariq said, beloved. Okay. I didn't say the people were going to take him down. At the end of the day, he said something about the Africans in a Twitter space, and he played some of the recording. I do believe he said something about they said they were going to take him out. And I said on the recording, I heard them say they need to discredit him and take him down. I said there's a difference. I said if you take someone down, that's not the same as saying you're going to take someone out. Because if I hear someone say they want to take someone out, that sounds like you want to kill them. Okay, so that's what I said. I wasn't saying anything about someone taking him down. I was repeating what he said and giving my insight on the fact that taking down someone and taking out someone are two different frames of thought. That was my whole point. Another thing is, you said that Tariq should not be linked to FBA in such an intimate way. Well, Tariq is the one who coined the term FBA. Tariq is the one who everyone in FBA, listens to predominantly disproportionately. And then you just said yourself that when you all were in the Twitter space with Tariq, the so-called tethers were coming for him and getting in you all's business. So you mentioned Tariq along with FBA yourself. So if I'm talking about FBA, of course, if I was basically saying that I don't agree with all of Tariq's talking points, and that is why some FBA got angry at me. And so I don't know how to separate him from the FBA when he's the one who is, the spokesperson for FBA. I won't say he's the leader because you all said the code is the leader. So if he's the spokesperson and I'm just disagreeing with what he said, not what everybody in FBA said, well, then I have to mention him. And then when I was talking about it, I was specifically talking to people who were FBA because that's who was on here, beloved.
I understand that, but even in your video that you have on now, you said if FBA is logic, you're talking about FBA. So it doesn't really make sense to me. It seems like you all need a separate video just about Tariq. Because I've also looked at Brandon. I do not agree with the Bucci Bear cartoon. I do not agree with some of the shenanigans, but I do not link that with FBA. And Tariq has said in his lives that he is not the leader of FBA. FBA is separate from him.
But he is a part of FBA because that's his lineage. So, well, I'll say this. At the end of the day, you said the title of the video. Yes, because I'm talking about FBA collectively. If the FBA code is logic, then why isn't everyone using it? I'm talking about FBA collectively. That's why the term is used. Now, again, I guess you want me to talk about FBA without mentioning Tariq. Is that what you want me to do?
No, I feel that the gripes that you're talking about Tariq about, you're bringing FBA into it. And I feel like, and
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I feel like, thank you, Queen. I feel like FBA in the respect of what you were talking about, Tariq, what Tariq was doing, it didn't have to do specifically with FBA. And I feel like FBA, if we're going to ride on this train and we're going to say that FBA, this is what our lineage is, and we're going to, as Black American people, decide on something and say this is what we're doing, we have to have a high spiritual frequency about our reparations. See, Queen, because I've listened to you before, and I listened to you on one of your videos, and you said that you didn't think that we were going to get reparations in your living day. And so I don't. Okay, so I don't believe that. I'm on a high frequency. I know that what I say and what my thoughts shape my reality. So I do not think like that. And I don't go with the negative energy of reparations and tying Tariq with that negative energy. I'm going with FBA energy, which is positive energy. And I'm pushing aside the tether class that wants to rain on our parade and slow this train down. This FBA reparations train is going. I'm going to get my reparations. I hope you see to get the reparations, and I hope my children and all the ancestors and our progeny get to see these reparations. And I want to thank you for bringing light to issues that you say on your channel, because I've been listening to you for a long time and you give me high frequency spiritual energy. But for these FBA talks with Tariq, it's very low frequency for me, Queen. And that's the reason why I called in. But I respect you and I thank you for all your time and every video that you put up, because it inspires me to be a better person. So I just wanted to add that as my piece, because I really like high frequency. So I feel we're talking about this reparations chain. We really need to focus on the reparations, and we really need to focus on getting our money from white supremacists, and we really need to focus on keeping non-FBA people out of our business. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, beloved. Thank you. So with that all being said, very good points made, but let me say this. Here's the thing. She said that I was tying Tariq into the FBA discussion. Well, that's because Tariq is the spokesperson for FBA. And also, I had to do that to get my point across, because as I said, the people who were leaving me the nasty comments, the few who were, they were only upset because I was disagreeing with Tariq. Now, if they were upset about some other reason, then I wouldn't have had to mention Tariq. But they were absolutely letting me know that they were upset because I disagreed with some of Tariq's talking points. Okay, and that's why I brought Tariq up. Now, to the point about reparations. Well, here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on that. I think positively for most things. I also try to be high vibrational. But at the end of the day, I know and understand how the system of wanton supremacy works and has always worked. And so what I do know is this: we will not get reparations if we are all divided, and if we are out here spewing hateful things. That's what we're not going to do. Because see, what some of you all don't seem to realize is they are always trying to make us look like we're racist, like we're hateful and all of these things. And I want you all to really pay attention to what I'm about to say. Now, we do understand, or we should all know, how they gave the Asians an anti-Asian hate crime bill, and then they painted the narrative that Black people, foundational Black Americans, whatever you call yourselves, African Americans, at the end of the day, they painted the narrative that we were the ones being xenophobic and hateful toward them. They showed these videos of Black people attacking them. They arrested Black people and charged them with hate crimes. But when those same things happen to us, they say it's not any reason to think this is a classification of a hate crime. The lynchings are deemed as suicides. So what they are doing is setting up a narrative. Now I want you to follow me. So with that all being said, if we, whether we call ourselves FBA or Moorish, which I call myself, whatever, if we're sitting here saying all these negative things about Black immigrants, y'all don't think the government can sit there and use that against us to say, oh, they're xenophobic, they're the racists? Of course they will. Of course they will. These are the things they do. They will find any excuse not to give us what we deserve. They will make up all types of BS, falsehoods, paint narratives and push agendas. This is what they'll do. On the other hand, I do believe that we will eventually get reparations. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, because I just know how the devils operate and how they work. I think that in order for us to get reparations, we need to unify, stay on code. We need to basically, try to get people in political positions for us who are going to benefit us. Okay, we may have to, give money to these representatives to represent us, just like these other groups do, or like the Asians do, or like the Mexicans do. We may have to do that. We may have to have people fighting of course we'll have to have people fighting for our own, best interest. But here's the thing. It's very hard for that to happen when we have so many of our own people going against those who even tried, like Ice Cube. Now, when Ice Cube wrote down a package of tangibles that he wanted Black Americans to get, and then he went to the Democrats and they didn't want to hear it. They said, wait until after, the election. And then he went to the Trump administration and they sat down and listened. Some of our own people got upset and got mad. and started talking about him and going in on him. So as long as we continue to do things like that, how are we ever going to get anywhere? It seems when you do those type of things that you don't want any allies. It seems that if somebody disagrees with anything you don't like or whatever, then they're a problem. And that's what I'm saying. We cannot sit there and get upset every time someone has an idea that's not the same as the one we thought of. Some of you want to stay on the Democratic plantation. And then if someone else says, well, I don't want to stay on that plantation, I'm just not going to roll with that. And then you automatically say, oh, they're just a card-carrying Republican and they this and that. And then you want to go in on them. And that's not even always the case. What we should do is start respecting other people's, well, hold on. Let me just block this person. They said they just unsubscribed. Well, if you just unsubscribed, why are you still in my chat? And why do you feel the need to announce that you unsubscribe? Honey, no one cares, mainly not the queen. And you talk about this is hate speech. You see how foolish some people are? This is hate speech. Okay, well, goodbye. At the end of the day, how is it hate speech? You see how illogical some people are? 6 feet tall. I just unsubscribed. Thank you. This is hate speech. What did I say that was hateful? Did I call anyone a racial slur? Did I lie on anyone? Some people are just so ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense to engage with them. But here's my thing. And this person wasn't subscribed to my channel anyway, 6 feet tall. Okay, that's what you weren't. So at the end of the day, as I was saying, it would behoove us to at least respect other people's opinions, whether or not we agree with them. You don't have to agree, but just respect the fact that some people will have different views and opinions. Okay, Lamarcus says, those are the weak people I speak of. Okay, you said nothing, Queen. He is a troll. Absolutely. Okay, thank you, beloved. Well, hate on Queen. People are stupid, says Honey 69. Some people are, and some people are stupid. Some people are just uninformed, and some people are misinformed. At the end of the day, listen, my thing is I have respect for opposing opinions. I don't have to agree with you on everything you do and say, but I can respect your opinion. You see, I don't have to get angry because you disagree with me, nor should you get angry because I disagree with you. That's not going to get us anywhere. Okay, that's not going to get us anywhere. It's just a whole lot of, rhetoric going back and forth. At the end of the day, if you want to get reparations, the first thing you need to do is have your identification of your lineage in your paperwork. Now, if you're saying you're FBA, but your paperwork says African American, that's a contradiction because they're both not the same thing. So it would behoove you to change your paperwork to foundational Black Americans, wouldn't you say? Because here's the thing, I want you to pay attention. Because if you sit up here and we say, oh, we're foundational Black Americans, we're FBA, and we're out here fighting and putting in work and boots on the ground for reparations and tangibles, you know what they can do? They can say, guess what? We're going to give foundational Black Americans tangibles and reparations. Everybody that's won, come on and get your check, your gold, your land, or whatever they're going to give us, right? Then when you show up, they'll say, where's your documentation? Where's your paperwork that proves that you're a foundational Black American? Say what now? And you pull out your driver's license, your social security card, and your birth certificate, and they look at all of that, and you're classified as an African American, which according to Executive Order 13037 means property. And as we know, property has no rights. So then what? They can say, we don't have to give you reparations. You're not even foundational Black American. You say you are, but your paperwork says different. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Now that is logical. If the code is logic, then let's use it. Okay? Let's use it. So you cannot say that you're foundational Black Americans and go buy a t-shirt and a flag and think that's all you need to do. and then go out there and fight and have someone as your spokesperson fighting, and then the government decides, okay, well, we're going to give these foundational Black Americans their money, and we're going to give it to them. And then you're going to have to produce some documentation to substantiate your claims, right? You're going to have to show that license identification, a government identification. You're going to have to show your social security card, all that stuff. You see, when I changed and got into my correct status years ago, I had to do all of that. That's how I know what I'm talking about. You see, I had to do all of that. I had to go to the Social Security Department. I had to go to the DMV. I had to change all of that. I had to send letters and information over to the Office of Business Administration, who reports directly to the President of the United States. I had to do a myriad of things. I had to fill out all these paperworks. It was so many. It took me nearly 4 months to do it. But I did it because I wanted to free myself from being under the title of African American, which is property and has no rights. I wanted to have rights, okay? And so with that all being said, I also wanted to change my name because I was tired of wearing a slave name. And so that's why I did all of those things. And you're going to have to do all of those things. Did anyone tell you that? I'm just curious. Well, you say you have no leader. The code is the leader, right? Well, the code can't give you that information that I just gave you. That's what the code can't do. You see, it's all fine and dandy to say that the code is the leader, but for every good group of people, for every war that is fought and battle and all of that, there's always a leader. There's always a leader. A leader can't be a code. I'm sorry to say. A leader cannot be a code. If the leader can be a code, then I could say this deck of cards is my leader. What can that deck of cards do for me? True Snow says logic is the leader. Well, logic is a frame of thought. A frame of thoughts can't be the leader. And even if it is, how come everyone's not using logic? What happens then? At the end of the day, there has to be someone who's the spokesperson, who's out front, who's out there giving out this information, getting the paperwork done, telling you how to get it done, telling you where to send it to. What about your statutory claims need to be sent to the IRS? What about your declarations, your statutory declarations, and all of that? Who's going to tell you and teach you all of those things? You see, you have to have someone that you deem as the leader. You just have to. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So at the end of the day, like I said, you will not get reparations unless you have your paperwork correctly done and applied, because like I said, they can tell you they're going to give you something, but you can rest assured they're going to want proof of who you are. They're going to want proof of who you are. You're going to have to legally, not by wearing a t-shirt or waving a flag, you're going to have to legally identify as foundational Black Americans. And until you do that, no, you will not get reparations. And that's just what it is. And that's not me being low vibrational or low frequency. That's me being logical rather than nonsensical. Okay. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude. Forever Coco says, teach a class, queen. Thank you, beloved. And listen, here's the thing. You all may remember, those of you who've been following me, you may remember that I showed you all how to authenticate your birth certificates. Right? You all remember how I showed you all how to do that and why? Well, you need to get someone to teach you how to fill out all of the proper documentation so that you can legally classify on government documents, driver's licenses, and all of that, right, as foundational Black Americans. All right, until you do that, you can keep on pushing and pushing, but they can say they're going to give you something and then snatch it right back due to a technicality. Trust me, they've done these things before throughout history. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, Lee Harv said, you sure did, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Vince I am says, I remember that. Thank you. True Snow says, that's moving the goalposts. Yes, beloved. And that's what they've done to us for decades and centuries. They've moved the goalpost. So I'm going to tell y'all like this in closing. Listen, I love you all. You know, I absolutely do. Some of you don't like my talking points, you disagree, that's all fine. You don't have to agree with me. At the end of the day, you're still welcome on my channel and welcome in my chat, as long as you're respectful. Be respectful to me, and I'll be respectful to you, whether we agree or not. And that's the way it should be. You see, that's how you unify. People that are unified don't have to always agree. You can disagree and still be in unity on one accord. That's what you can do. Me and my cousin can get into a fight, but then someone else wants to jump my cousin. You think I'm not going to help? I disagreed with them a few minutes ago, but now, we're going to tag team you. You're not going to jump my cousin. That's how that goes. That's how we should be. You don't have to agree with everything I say. I don't have to agree with everything you say. All right. At the end of the day, it's all about us working together for one common goal. Period. Okay. So with that all being said, Khalid said that's 100, Queen. Thank you, beloved. So Obsidian Blaze says, love you, Queen. I love your positions. Thank you, beloved. And I love you, all right, Black. Okay, Jay Gray said, resistance is needed to move forward. Yes. Listen, I don't need a bunch of yes men and women going along with everything I say. I want to know your opinions when you disagree with me as well. Because you see, sometimes I'm wrong. I'm not always right. So if I'm not always right, and I don't want to accept anyone else's thoughts, views, or opinions, then I'll just stay wrong in the times that I'm incorrect, right? And so it's good to listen to people, and that's how you have a concerted or a beneficial dialogue, when you listen to other people's thoughts and views, all right? Like minds come together, and they can build things together, but also minds that have contrary views and opinions can come together and do the same thing. That's why every day I tell you, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Now, if we already think everything just alike, well, then there's no need to teach. You teach because you have different views that other people may not know about, and they have different views that you may not know about. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. And that's also how we'll get those reparations. Okay, so with that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed day. Stop getting bent out of shape because people disagree with some of the things that you say and do. Everyone's not going to agree with you all the time, 100%, nor are they going to do the same with me. That's just how the world works. And we should accept people for who they are and what they are, and for their views and opinions, whether we enjoy them or not. All right. So everyone have a beautiful and blessed day. Each one teach one is how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. And let me tell you something. I may be a North American native of Cherokee descent, and my nationality may be legally Moorish. That doesn't mean that I don't identify with FBA. That doesn't mean that I don't love FBA, because I absolutely do love Foundational Black Americans, honey. And y'all know that, those of you who have been following me. So with that all being said, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.